welcome to the Signing Lounge.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here.
Awesome. How you feeling?
Good. Bit nervous, but good.
Bit nervous?
Yeah.
How so?
Big move, moving halfway across the world
Yeah.
at the age of 18. But
Excited?
Very exciting.
Yeah.
Big step in my career, I'd say.
Yeah. And explain to us, like, why are we sitting here today?
Well, I think I was around the age of 15 and I wanted to find out, I guess, when I finished high school, what I wanted to pursue. I knew I wanted to do football, but I guess figuring out what that pathway was. And then got referred to you from Jonah.
Thanks to Jonah.
Yeah. And found the pathway of the American system. And yeah, basically fast forward 2.5 years, here we are.
And now we're here,
Yeah.
So what exactly appealed to you about the college system? Like, obviously growing up playing NPL here, you know, we know that you've got aspirations to go on to bigger and better things. So what is it exactly that drew you into this pathway in particular?
Well, for me, education's always been a big thing, and I've always tried to combine that with my football. So when I found out there was a way to do that, so like I guess efficiently and effectively in the US, and they really combine that really well, I guess jumped at the chance to be able to do that.
Okay, fantastic. And look, now you've committed to the process, and for anyone that doesn't know, this process for us started almost 2 years ago now. It was long, it was drawn out. I mean, give us a little bit of an insight into how that process looked like for you and sort of some of the challenges that you had to overcome on a personal level.
So I guess we began by just like elementary talks and talking about what the system looked like, and I got a lot of knowledge from you about that, which was really great. And then once everything got the ball rolling, then we started getting footage together, doing all that. And then in terms of personal challenges that came, I had COVID and then I tore my ACL.
Yeah, it was tough.
Not a fun one.
No.
And then, so that was difficult to find footage, but I think we did pretty well with that, you know. And then started reaching out to colleges and made relationships from there.
Yeah, look, you definitely had a few curveballs along the way. The old knee, COVID, you know. Let's be real, you didn't kick a ball for almost 2 years. So it was definitely an interesting process, put it that way. But I mean, I'm sure where was your headspace at it throughout the whole journey? I mean, it would have been some darkish times, could we say?
Yeah, so it kind of got knocked all around the place, having to go from the last game I officially played was in pre-season of under 17s.
Wow.
So that was quite a while ago. I've played obviously practice games since then, but going from that straight to D1 in America was a bit of a head spin, I'd say.
Bit daunting.
But I guess backing myself, knowing like Coach Lombardi on the other side, she backs me and whatnot, and the support systems I've had have been great.
Yeah, and look, you've had the chance to keep training with Lee throughout the whole process, which has been huge. I mean, you got access to pretty much the best one-on-one trainer in all of Sydney. So, I mean, I think from knowing you throughout this journey, you're definitely prepared and ready to go. Although, you know, it's been a bit of a topsy-turvy ride, but your headspace has been fantastic throughout all of it. You know, a lot of kids might have had a complete meltdown with some of the stuff you had to go through. So, props to you. You know, I think you did really well throughout the whole process. But in terms of, you know, a lot of kids and a lot of coaches, you know, the word "the right fit" gets thrown around a lot throughout the whole recruitment process. What does that look like to you, the right fit, in terms of, you know, whether that be the school, the location, the coach, education? Give us your insight as to how that works.
Okay, yeah. So for me, the right fit, when I was going into the process, it kind of changed a few times.
Yeah.
Not changed completely, but my ideal school kind of varied throughout it based on what I was also going through with my ACL especially.
Yeah.
So initially I was kind of thinking that I want somewhere that has my degree and football and a coach that's really great, and I wasn't too specific about it, I'd say.
Yeah.
But as it came down to I tore my ACL, a big part for me was that the coach would support me with that ACL, and they'd have facilities where I could train, and a big part was that I was able to do my rehab timeline the way that I would like to, because obviously there's differences in the rehab timeline between the US and Australia.
Of course.
So I really wanted to get it sorted, as it was quite a bad injury.
Yeah.
And Coach Lombardi at St. Francis was absolutely amazing with that.
Of course.
Remotely supported me through the whole journey in Brooklyn, which was amazing. And it was also great the way that I could talk to the team before I went over there.
Yeah.
And obviously they also had my education. It was all good over there, and the degree that I wanted, which was great. But the support system for me was really, really important for the perfect fit.
So what in particular was it that drew you to St. Francis? I mean, you touched on a few things just there, but what was it exactly that made you go, oh, this is the school I want to choose? Because you did have a few offers along the way. You spoke to a lot of good people, but eventually it led you to signing that piece of paper there, and now you're committing to St. Francis Division 1 school in Brooklyn, New York.
Yes. So big thing that drew me in was definitely coach and team environment, but also the way that I watched a few of their games before I kind of was in serious talks with them, and the way that they play football and their intentions behind it was very much the way that I like to play.
Oh, awesome.
And the game that I like to play. So like playing through midfield, possession based, which can be difficult to find in the US, as they're very driven and athletic, which is great, difficult to play against, but
yeah, of course.
As a midfielder, you always want to be possession based.
Yeah, you want to get on the ball.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So for you, on a personal level, like what's your main goal? What are you looking to achieve by going to college in America? What are the goals that you're setting throughout your career there?
So the main goal that I want to achieve by the end of my 4 years is to transfer to a professional team.
Yeah. And
go into that professional route. Not exactly sure which way I want to go with that, leaving the book open in terms of where I would play after that.
Yeah.
And in terms of the goals I want to achieve throughout my 4 years, I want to try and get like NEC, all-team, all those kind of big accomplishments, and also obviously do well with my studies.
Yeah.
Achieve
Awesome. Well, lovely. So finally, before we let you go, obviously we speak to a lot of athletes here in Australia, about the college system, the recruitment process in particular. It can be quite long, it can be quite daunting, a very drawn out process. If you were to give 3 pieces of advice for any young athlete that's exploring the college system, what would that be?
So the first piece of advice I'd give is definitely to trust the process.
Yeah.
Professionals such as yourself and Sam, you know what you're doing, you know how to get us through this, and you're great in terms of your words of wisdom throughout the process. It was great having that kind of support throughout it. Another piece of advice I'd say is just to be patient. If this is what you want, you work hard enough, you will get it. And last piece of advice I'd say is to really form those relationships with the coaches and get to know them on multiple levels, figure out what their program's about, what their style of play is about, their coaching style, and the team environment.
Yeah, awesome. Well, look, thank you very much for your time today. We're excited that we finally got to this stage, and we can't wait to see what you do over there.
Thank you, yeah, it's a good interview. Hi, my name is Chloe Walker, and I've committed to St. Francis Brooklyn.